Hello Taurus, welcome to April 2018. Thank you so much for being here. Quick announcement, I'm not doing private readings this month. I just super need a break after that Pisces season, plus Mercury retrograde, my ruling sign, happening in my house of relationships. I'm kind of like a little skeptical, so I think it's better for me to just take a break. That being said, if you have an emergency and you really need some answers, I will have an emergency option on my site, and the pricing and what is included will be listed on the site as well. Comprehensives, though, will still be available just like they were last month, okay? A lot going on, so much manifestation. Same thing with Aries and Taurus. Like, you guys have a lot of attention. Actually, everyone has a lot of attention on money and career, like, because all these projects that we've sort of had up in the air and these big picture type of things are really starting to come to fruition as Mars enters Capricorn later this week. We also have Venus entering your sign. It's coming back home to Taurus. When is that happening? On March 31st. So money and also self-worth, and the Venus aspect will kind of connect with the full moon in Libra on that same day as well. So relationships, money, career. Can we focus on all three at once? Can we give all three our full attention? Is that possible? You are going to have a situation arise, though, okay, that I think is something from the past. I call it like a time warp. Like, you're going backwards in time because something really needs to get resolved. The Mercury retrograde in Aries is going to be prime time for resolution. It's going to be hard. We're going to be throwing some punches. We're going to be like really aggressive, everyone, not just you. And yet at the same time, there is some serious healing that's going to go along with this, because we'll have Chiron following that Mercury retrograde entering into Aries to kind of help pick up all the pieces, okay? You do have a Nine of Swords that comes out a couple times, once in the regular and then once in the comprehensive. And it's important for you to have faith, to lean into that anxiety, to lean into that fear. And when that situation arises, because it inevitably will, when it does, you must deal with it. Running away from anything right now is like futile. The universe is just going to laugh at you, okay? Because you're going to have to face it eventually, and you might as well just face it now. New year, new 12-month cycle, new moon in Pisces. There's a lot going for you. So if you can just get in there, attack it, take the bull by the horns. All right, Taurus, take the bull by the horns. You're going to get off to a running start, okay? So let's go ahead and begin. Thanks, guys, so much. Take care. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to April. Almost your birthday. A lot of stuff happening in your 12th house this month, including a Mercury retrograde, which I will definitely talk about in the intro, so I won't repeat myself here. As I was shuffling, we got two major arcana that came out in this order, okay? Death and then the Lovers. It's not surprising to me that you have major arcana coming out right out of the gate. There's just so much emphasis on your sign over the upcoming months, not just in April and May, but even into June, because of this Uranus transit into Taurus. And we have the Jupiter retrograde happening completely opposite of you in Scorpio as well. And so there's just a lot of stuff. Now, the Death card has been making an appearance a lot lately, but I don't see it necessarily as being this huge process that's very dark and very deep, and Pluto and Scorpio and all, like, yeah, okay, that's what this card really represents, but we've already gone through so much of that. We've already been through that whole big process, and what's happening now is the transformation is starting to manifest itself in the outside world, in our perceived reality. And sometimes that can be really disorienting, because as we heal, as we learn to love ourselves more deeply, as we learn to respect ourselves and stand up for ourselves, and as we learn to do whatever it is that we need to do, because we all have our individual wounding and our individual soul journey. So as we learn that, and we become more confident with that, and we work through issues, and we work through our psychological development, we become stronger and more aware, more conscious. Our outside world begins to reflect that. And it's the, you know, as above, so below. You've already done the below the surface, below our consciousness in the subconscious arena, and now it's coming up above. Okay, now the Lovers is coming out. I mean, the Lovers has so many different meanings. Yes, it indicates love. Yes, it indicates sex and sexuality. And both of these, I mean, the Lovers and the card of Scorpio, I mean, there is sexuality here, okay? It does indicate choices. You know, the original artwork, I can't remember the name of the tarot deck. It's one of the old original Italian decks, and it was actually a picture of a man having to choose between two women, the Lovers, right? One blonde, one brunette. And it was, so it also indicates choice or two directions. Also represents logic and intellect. The sign of it's the card of Gemini, represents our internal duality, which death is very good at bringing forth our duality because it makes us see our shadow side, our shadow self, our inner darkness, the inner darkness that we must become acquainted with in order to see our light. Okay, and so there's that aspect to it as well. So let's continue to pull out cards. However, I think in the comprehensive reading, that's going to be something that I'm really going to need to clarify because it'll speak to all of you in different ways. So let's see what else comes out here. Okay, Four of Swords, Three of Pentacles, and Ten of Pentacles reverse all comes out. So Four of Swords, it's a very quiet card. Interesting to have two major arcana that are somewhat, or very, sometimes very disruptive in our life, and yet you are handling it like a rock star. Whenever I get the Four of Swords out, when there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of activity, there's a level of maturity with this and a kind of let's wait and see what happens attitude. You might be in kind of this resting place for quite a while throughout all of April, just a wait and see. There's a lot of work stuff going on, no doubt about it. You're the sign of money. You're the sign of possessions, right? And it seems to be that for all the signs, that's kind of a focus, you know? And so you seem to be kind of the leader in this. You are going to kind of be the one that is instigating commerce. You're the one that's starting new projects. You're the one that's hiring people, giving other people the opportunity. Like I said, you're kind of the warrior at the front of the trenches here in terms of money and commerce. And whatever career goals you have, it's very, very likely that there's going to be a lot of time dedicated to those goals. There's going to be long hours at the office. There's going to be a lot of meetings, a lot of social activity, and it seems to be pretty smooth. Okay, it seems to be pretty smooth. And in a weird way, I feel like it is a productive channeling of some of this energy here, where at night when you're at home and it's quiet. If you're in a relationship, you know, there could still be a little bit of distance between the two of you, and you come to this Four of Swords place, very pensive. See, the swords, I don't know why I started seeing this imagery lately, but I feel like the swords are like icicles. You know, when they start to melt, the water kind of drips down. And I feel like the water, right, water representing the ether or messages from the ether directly into your mind and your heart, okay? Your mind, heart, and gut, really kind of the way that they're aligned here. Your heart, mind, and spirit, if you can. And new ideas are coming to you. They have been coming to you with a lot of the activity in your subconscious. You're very active in your mind right now, in a very quiet place. And although I'm not seeing anything painful, I'm not seeing anything very, very dramatic, I'm not seeing huge changes, still a lot of this major arcana activity or energy is going to be channeled into the work arena, which therefore manifests things in your outer world, right? So it's kind of that 6 one, half a dozen the other. Ten of Pentacles reverse. I'm definitely going to be clarifying this in the comprehensive. You know, Ten of Pentacles reverse can indicate some kind of expense, or when there's a new venture at play. For those of you who are starting to consider investing in something, it's the risk you have to take. You may be doing a few risky things. Be careful with that, because we have Mercury retrograde in Aries, and Aries being so impulsive, and Mercury retrograde commerce, there can be an indication of loss. So I would be very, very careful about expenditures this month. Be very careful about where you spend your time, energy, effort, and money. Keep to yourself. I think this Four of Swords is very much a recommendation. You can create and produce all you want this month. Get things going, get projects started, even borrowing other people's money. But I would very much hang on to your own money if you can, all right? Yes, let's just leave it at that. We'll see what else comes out later on. See, I don't know why I'm feeling like that Lover's card represents exhaustion of some kind. I never see that. That's a very, I mean, this is like a once in a lifetime thing, but I'm seeing that Lovers as being very energetically draining. And you may have gone through something with your partner, or you may expect to go through something with your partner. No final decisions this month. I don't think that it's a good idea for anyone to be like making huge things happen this month simply because of the Mercury retrograde. And there is that impulsivity. We must be very, very mindful of that. When we are feeling impulsive, just to wait a couple days until that impulse kind of subsides. Not to say that you can't still be productive, because you can, but just like in bite-sized pieces, okay? There seems to be a personal issue. The fact that I'm seeing energy channeling from one area of life to another tells me that it's not time for you to really deal with this particular thing right now. And you might just need to kind of put a pin in it. And I'm not saying to disappear or to ghost people, but to just not deal with it quite yet, okay? Gosh, I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to think of my Taurus people. I don't quite know exactly. Don't quite know exactly. Let's see. See, Five of Swords. See, maybe that's where that exhaustion thing could be really coming from. I think this like Three of Swords or Three of Pentacles, I just want to like reach out and give this card just like a big hug, because this is just going to be your absolute best friend, you know, working, is one of Taurus's natural affinities. All earth signs, you're just naturally good at it. Whatever it is you've chosen to do with your life, even if it's not like your life passion, you're still good at it. And being good at something and creating things and dealing with people, you know, it kind of breathes life into you a little bit. And when there's a personal issue that's causing some stress, and when you find yourself maybe even having the same kind of arguments with people or someone, you're finding yourself back where you started, you know, like you've come so far. This death card indicates that you've come so far. The evolution of your soul is so much more evolved now, that it's almost as though you're looking at this Five of Swords and you're like, oh, how did I find myself back here? Ugh, you know, and there's just that drainage. See, I think these are speaking together here. There's the drainage, there's the dealing with difficult personalities, there's the return of people that you thought got out of your life, there's the same argument that keeps seeming to resurface and you thought it was gone. You know, like whatever it is, it's just like it's still pesky. It's pesky and it's there. And I don't really know if you're going to be dealing with it. I feel as though there's more of an avoidance of it. But not avoidance in terms of denial that it doesn't exist, but avoidance because you're really, really, really trying to not go backwards. You know, you're really, really not wanting to go back there. See, Eight of Wands, you want to move. You want to change. You want to even maybe travel. You know, like you actually are truly trying to distance yourself from this. And maybe this is more speaking to you now in terms of your duality. Your dark, shadowy side is here. Your light side is here and here. And it's kind of like a battle, that internal battle of wits almost kind of thing. Battle of wits within you. The angel and the devil sitting on your shoulder. The trying to manipulate or trying to convince you to go back here. Because I think there's a part of you that is like, I'm not going to say you want to go back. I don't think you want to, but it's almost as though you feel like it's just still a little bit unresolved. And so you're going to feel obligated to go back here. When in reality, like you're so far distanced from it already. Eight of Wands, like there's a huge gap between where you were and where you are. And it's just like, it's almost like feels like a time warp. Mercury retrogrades do that though. They pull out the junk sometimes. And it's happening in your 12th house, house of your subconscious, right? So it's, you know, it is going to drudge up some psychological stuff. That's common, that's normal for 12th house activity. See, calm, peace. And then like, there's totally two different, like you're almost living two very different lives right now. The professional life that totally has your life entirely together, and then the part of you that has caused you to fall apart in the past. This may have represented some very significant losses for you. Loss of a relationship, loss of a family member, could have been, you know, loss of an inheritance or even an investment loss as well. And so there could be something that comes up that's reminiscent of that and makes you face that, makes you look at that. Although I think that the anxiety is not so much the thing. The anxiety is having to deal with the thing. You just don't want to deal with it. You thought you had already completely rid yourself of that, and like, blah, here it is. We really have to understand that nature of Mercury retrograde in Aries. I even labeled the Aries video "Packing a Punch." because there's aggressiveness with everybody. We are all coming out of this Piscean quality, like I said before, and it's like it feels great, but we're all wanting to just leave everything behind, but sometimes you just can't, right? Sometimes you do have to kind of clean up the mess a little bit or deal with something. Five of Wands. Like, I know you don't want to deal with this stuff. I know you don't. And somehow, some way, somewhere, I'm not seeing a person here, so I don't really know who it is or how you're kind of getting sucked back into this. And the thing is that it's not that you, I don't know if you really have a choice. I'm seeing a familial connection here with the Ten of Pentacles. So it might be a brother-sister issue or a mother-father issue, a family business issue or something. And like, there's like a blood connection, you know, where there is some obligation there where you just can't not deal with it. And yet here, again, there's the peaceful aspect of this. So be super aware. Awareness is key for everyone this month. To be aware of your impulse. Because we are very heated. We are agitated. Mercury in Aries, it's not necessarily in fall or detriment. It's not like it hates to be in Aries, but doesn't really enjoy being there either. And so it's agitated enough as it is, and then it has to go backwards, so it has to spend even more time there, and it's just like irritability everywhere. Sharp tongues. People are going to say things that they regret. So the more aware of that energy that you can be, the more you can draw yourself into this Four of Swords, which is much more calm. There is a retreat element, so actually separating yourself. Like I said, if you need to travel and to get away, if you can, I would highly recommend doing that. It doesn't have to be very far, okay? It could be somewhere close by, but just to not have to immerse yourself here. Taurus, you're just getting kind of hit pretty hard anyway over the next couple months. So there are things that need to be cleaned up first before Uranus comes into your sign. I think I even said this in Aries, like Uranus in Aries rips the concept of the self apart. It's about fragmentation. I don't know, I see Uranus as being a very explosive energy, right? Just kind of comes in and blows everything to pieces. So the past few years, we've been trying to somehow figure out how to reassemble ourselves. And you are no exception. And now is really the time for you to be super, super sure about who you are and what you stand for and what you will allow, and to really understand your contribution to things, because sometimes we contribute by allowing things, right? And so it's a question of, are you going to allow this, and how much are you going to allow this to affect your peace? I really think it's all going to be channeled here toward work, and you're going to see massive strides in that area. Even if it's just in the realm of professional relationships, maybe not even actual money that comes in or an actual promotion, but rather just making yourself more seen, more visible, more valuable, all that kind of stuff, okay? So much to clarify in the comprehensive. Let's see here. We got 5 that came out. I'm going to go ahead and just take all 5 because I saw this Knight of Swords. I'm like, oh man, that's the perfect like course. This is kind of the energy that we are all embodying. It's just a very attack mode, it's not even, there's no manipulation here. It's just whatever we got to say, we're going to say it. There's no apologies, and we're probably going to hurt people's feelings, and we don't really care. And people are going to hurt your feelings, and they're not going to care. And there's just this like brashness. 2 of Pentacles. Two, there's a lot of balancing. There's two pieces of your world, whatever two pieces these reflect, two pieces of your world that are going to need to stay afloat, and they're going to need your attention. I don't think this is avoidable, to be honest with you. I think you are going to try, but the more and more I'm sitting here looking at this, I'm like, there's no way that you're going to be able to avoid this. There's some reason why you have to still deal with this, and I don't quite know why per se, but there's some reason there. Two of Pentacles, I always say it's about authenticity. And these two pentacles can often represent the masks that we wear, the versions of ourselves that we present to different people. But the more and more authentic and the more true we are, the easier life really becomes, because the people that like us stay in our life and the people that don't like us, they leave, and that's fine. You know, please, let's get the people that don't like us out of our life, you know. Three of Swords. Doesn't surprise me with the Nine of Swords, doesn't surprise me with the Death card, but this is a necessary evil. You had to experience this loss, this sorrow, this sadness. It was a part of your death process, your transformation, or your metamorphosis. Like I'm saying, like this isn't completely over, but you've already gone through so much of this, and it is, all the positive stuff that has come from it is starting to manifest in your outside world. And it's more important to cling to the good things and to keep your vibration attuned to the good things than it is to base yourself here. So when you're dealing with this stuff, it's going to be hypercritical for you to be here, to kind of keep your vibration higher than this stuff, because this can be such a drag, right? Ace of Wands. I don't know that major opportunities are going to be coming for you this month. I think they're on hold. I often see Ace of Wands, or any of the aces really, when they're reversal, is more being a delay. There's like this whole thing is such an annoyance. It's just so like, oh God, I really have to deal with that. It is so annoying, but you have to weed yourself through to get to the other side where this is kind of waiting, okay? It's kind of like the carrot and the stick type of thing. And then there's an element of success, which is great. There's an element of victory and people support. Like, I don't think that this represents all people in your life. This is just one situation, and probably some situation from the past. So, your present company, for the most part, whether it's your significant other, whether it is your best friends, your co-workers, they are all totally in your corner and totally have your back. And like I said, you are a leader here with the Three of Pentacles in the professional realm, in the monetary realm right now, that you do have a lot of success here. And it's almost as though that success and the high and the happiness that you get from that is going to be, it's going to need to be used to make your way through this. Okay? Two very, very different parts of your life. Yeah, so I'm going to clarify a lot of this stuff in the comprehensive reading. So I do hope you join me. That link will be down below. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you next month. Bye-bye.